Hi students, this is Ms. Medina and I'm going to explain to you function notation, in particular f of x and how to solve for x and how to solve for f of x. So the first thing you need to understand is what this f of x means, okay? We've seen this before. F of x can be equal to, we can use any letter. It's interchangeable. It all depends on how we want to define our output variable. It's the same thing as y. So for example, if y equals 5, then f of x equals 5. Okay, they're equal to each other. Y equals f of x. So they're interchangeable. The same thing with a function. If it says y equals, and I'm looking right here, 2x squared minus 5x plus 3, then that means that f of x can be equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. You don't have to call it f. You can call it h for height. H of x can be equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. We can call it v of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 3. So these are different ways of writing function notation. It's all about how you define this variable. Okay. Now, the other note is when you're giving the function of a number and it already has a number in there, that means that that number is going to be x. Think about it. If it's f of x and then they give you f of 3, well, the only thing that got replaced is this right here. And so you wrote 3 instead of x, so that means that x equals 3. So literally, when they put the number inside the parentheses, they're telling you the value of x. They're giving you the inputs. So all we have to do is substitute it in. Substitute the number that's given to us into each x in the equation. So for example, if f of x is equal to 2x minus 5, and they ask you what is f of 3, then all we have to do is write f of 3 equals and replace our x with a 3. So it'd be 2 times 3 minus 5. And then we simplify the expression, right? What is this? 2 times 3 is 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. So the final answer is f of 3 equals 1. And you can write this as an ordered pair. Yes, we're going above and beyond. And x is 3, and the y value is 1. Right, let's do a few examples now. We're given that f of x is equal to 25x plus 8 right here, and we are to find the followings. So just watch. We're given that x equals 4. So this becomes f of 4 is 25 times 4 plus 8, which means it's 100 plus 8, and we get 108. All right, so the final answer is that f of 4 equals 108. If we're given f of 0 means that you have 25 times 0 plus 8. Simplifying this, we get that it's 8 only. So the final answer is that f of 0 equals 8. F of negative 3. F of negative 3 means that we have 25 times negative 3 plus 8. That gives us negative 75 plus 8. And what's that? Negative 67. Let me just make sure. Negative 75 plus 8. Yep, negative 67. So f of 3, proper notation, right? F of negative 3 is equal to negative 67. How about a fraction? A fraction is just an x value. So f of 4 over 3 is equal to 25 times 4 over 3 plus 8. Oops, we don't need that parentheses there. All right, simplifying, this is what, 100 over 3 plus 8. All right, so we're trying to get a common denominator. It's 100 over 3. Of course, you're welcome to use just a calculator, but you know, you do need to learn how to do this by hand. 8 times 3 is 24. All right, so we have 124 over 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't think it's divisible by 3, but here we go. Let's check. It is not. So then that just means that the answer for when x equals 4 over 3, the function equals 124 over 3. Yes, which is approximately, if we wanted to round this, 41.3 repeating. Right? All right, so the second part is, what if you're given that the function equals a value and they're asking you to go back and find what was that x value? So this is going to be the number, okay? So what I'm talking about is something like this. F of x equals 10. So what do we do with the 10? So we're going to rewrite the function by substituting f of x for the given value. That means that if it equals 10, we're going to set the function equal to 10. All right, watch carefully for the example. This one is f of x, and this is what we're given. We're given that f of x equals negative 21. So this means that this is negative 21. So then we write negative 21 equals 4x. Okay, they want us to start from step 1. F of x equals 4x plus 3. We know that f of x is negative 21. So for f of x, we're going to replace negative 21. And now we're just going to solve. So again, I'm going to go back to basics. Remember, this is the left side. This is the right-hand side. Only one of your terms has x, which is this one, right? And we want to keep this, and we need to get rid of the plus 3, so that's minus 3, minus 3, negative 25, sorry, negative 24 is equal to 4x. Now the only one, now that we've isolated the term, we want to isolate just the variable. And in order to do that, we need to get rid of this 4, understanding that this is multiplication. So that's why we need to divide out the 4. Right? And negative 24 divided by 4 is going to give us 6. Well, negative 6. And I ran out of room. Sadness beyond sadness. All right, you're going to have to use your imagination here. Hold on. That one, this one. There we go. Good imagination, students. Beautiful. Go, and so this is negative 6 equals x. Right? Or x equals negative 6. However you want to write this. All right, shall we practice this? We're given that k of x is equal to negative 3x plus 1, and we need to find the value of x. All right? So we start by writing the function k of x equals negative 3x plus 1. We know that k of x is negative 14. K of x is right here. So this is negative 14. Remember, we're not given x. We're asked to find x. Okay, so we're going to subtract 1, on both sides. Right, it cancels on this side. On negative 15 equals negative 3x. And the final step is going to be to divide both sides by negative 3. Right, so negative 15 divided by negative 3 is going to give you 5. So then we know that x equals 5. All right, let's do this again, and hopefully you can fit all the work in that tiny little box that I gave you. All right, so you're given that k of x is 25. All right, so we know that this is the function. If k of x is 25, we're going to replace k of x with 25. This is why it's important to write every single step. You start gaining better understanding. Then when you solve in pieces, your brain gets used to the pieces and not the full picture. So you want to solve using the full picture, all the steps, the lines written correctly. All right, so we're solving for this x right here. I think you can see the mouse kind of moving a little bit. So we need to subtract this 1. 24 equals negative 3x. Now we want to isolate just the x, so we're going to divide by negative 3 on both sides. And so we have that x equals, what is this, negative 8? There we go. So the answer is that x equals negative 8. Let's try this one more time. We're given that k of x. That k of x is equal to negative, the function is equal to negative 3x plus 1. All right. We're also given that k of x is negative 3, so negative 3 is equal to negative 3x plus 1. The constant is plus 1, so we subtract 1 on both sides. We have that negative 4. Hold on, I'm going to use my computer magic again. Let's shrink this just a little bit. There we go. We have negative 4 is equal to negative 3x. And we divide both sides by negative 3. All right, so what happens to negative divided by negative? It becomes positive. So the answer becomes 4 over 3. It's pretty good, right? Pretty easy. All right, let's see if you can tell the difference between the problems, okay? Given that f of x is equal to this, find f of negative 2. All right, so you're welcome to pause the video and attempt the problem on your own, and then you can see what the solution is. Now notice the notation. This entire standard is about function notation. Do you understand the information that's being given to you? Right? This is f of x. They've replaced the x with negative 2, which means they are telling you that x equals negative 2. All right, so they want you to find the value of the function. They've given you the value of x. They want the value of the function when x equals negative 2. All right, so f of negative 2 means that in every single x, we're going to substitute in negative 2. All right, this is negative 14 minus 1 gives us negative 15. So the final answer is this, that f of negative 2 equals negative 15. As an ordered pair, this means that when we plot negative 2, the y value is negative 15. All right, let's try this again. G of x is equal to x squared minus 4. They want us to find g of negative 5. Once again, notation is the purpose of the standard. This means that they've given us that x equals -5. They've given us x and they want the value of the function when x equals -5. So that means we have to plug in a -5 everywhere we see that x. So it's -5 squared. Notice the parentheses. Notice where the square is outside of the parentheses. -4. And then if you're using your calculator correctly, there's no need for a mistake. Also, when you see -5 squared, that means -5 times -5. And negative times negative is going to give you a positive. All right, so this is 25 times 4, which is 100. So the final answer is that g of -5 equals 100. And as an ordered pair, it looks like this. All right, the other side of the coin. Here, they're giving you that h of x, which is the function, is 5x minus 1. And they want you to find x. If you're finding x, that means that we don't know x. Got it? And they're telling you that the function equals 9. All right, at some x that we're going to find, the function's value is 9. Right, so where we see h of x, we're going to write 9. So 9 equals 5x minus 1. All right, so now we can solve for x. 9 plus 1 is 10. And to completely isolate the x, we need to divide out the 5 on both sides. X is equal to 2. All right, and of course we can write it as x equals 2 as well. All right, let's try this again. You are given that f of x equals -x plus 2. They want you to find x. And we know that the value of the function is 6 at that x that we're looking for. So wherever we see f of x, we're going to plug in or substitute in 6. So we have 6 equals -x plus 2. Right? I'm going to get rid of this plus 2. All right, cancel. We have 4 equals -x. But to get rid of this negative sign, right, remember everybody switches signs, so this becomes -4 equals x. All right, so we'll start at this part here for this video, and the second part of the video will cover this part of the worksheet, okay? So we keep it more focused.